Hello everyone. Today I'm going to go through the submission portal for the Coastal Incentive Grant pre-application submission. Before we go to the portal, I'd like to remind everyone of what is available on our website, coastalgadnr.org, Coastal Incentive Grant. This is the one-stop shop for everything that you would need to submit your pre-application, as well as information on the full application and award information if your project gets funded. So we have our program cycle, and our RFP is now up for cycle 25. I would also highly encourage you to attend one of the Coastal Incentive Grant workshops if you have the time. And on the right-hand side, you will see all of the materials that you may need for the pre-application and for information about the application process. So you have the RFP, the application instructions, you have the theme descriptions, research need, and I also have included samples of each of the forms that you will find on our new portal, and I'll explain the use of these forms once we get to the portal. So you also have the other reference documents and required reading and recommended reading. So all of this information is very useful for you to be able to get your pre-application ready. The information about the review process and the full application is down below. And if you are thinking about a low-cost construction or land acquisition project, I would highly recommend looking over the information in this section called the 306A. If you're interested in information about previous and current coastal incentive grants, we have the last cycles and titles and subgrantees. And we also have some story maps from the last 2 cycles of CIGs. And so they will give you some information about the project location, objectives, and if you want any more information on these, you can come to our database. So our Coastal Incentive Grant Awards database will take you to our database that has all the information on previous projects. So you could look up by just a word if you wanted to get more information. If you wanted to look up, you could look up by keywords, and it'll just show you the previous projects that have been awarded. And sometimes you'll have an attachment of a final report, but you could also request any kind of information if you're interested in looking at some previous awards. All right, so let's go to the portal. So you can go to the portal through this link right here. And this is our Coastal Incentive Grant portal. We are now working on our 2nd year with the portal. So I'm going to kind of walk you through initial setup. Before you create an account, especially if you're working at a university or research institution, I would recommend checking with your grants department to see how they would like this process to go. Some institutions have all of their projects, if there are multiple projects from the same institution. Some of them have all of their projects under one account, and some have chosen to let the PI go in and create the account. So check with your institution before you create an account. But if you need to create an account, the first thing you would do would be to sign up, and it'll just ask you for an email and a password. This email and password will be the only email and password that can be connected to this application. So if anybody else needs access to this application, you'll need to share this information with others. So make sure you share that if you need to share it with your grants department or financial department. If they need access to it, you'll need to share this information with them. So once you've created an account, you can sign in. So you would just come log in. And the first thing that it will ask you to do is to create a profile. And the profile is simply the institution. So it'll ask you for some information regarding the institution, and you can then create your profile. And then it will ask you to get started on your project. And at any stage, you can save your information. If you're not ready to submit at any stage, you can save it. And so your whole project will be under this portal, and each phase will open up as you're allowed. So right now you can't submit because you still need to complete some information. So this is the first part, and you'll just open and complete all the required fields. And like I said, at any point you can save this as a draft if you're not ready to submit it yet. If you would like to preview or print, if you need to send, once you have this information all completed, if you need to send it to someone to approve it, you can click on this arrow below and you can print it. Just save to draft, and it'll you can print, and this will give you the whole form that you've completed. So the pre-application information, as you see in the pre-application instructions, it'll have some profile information, then the project information, and all of the required fields are marked with an asterisk. Then you have the background and justification. For each one, you'll have the maximum number of characters that you can use. And so for each one, you'll see how big it needs to be. If you are submitting a 2-year project, you'll have to click yes, and then it will open up the task descriptions for year 1 and for year 2. Remembering that for 2-year projects, each year has to have separate tasks that cannot necessarily overlap into 1 year or the next. Just like the budget, you'll need a separate budget for each year. You'll select the number of tasks that you have, and then once you selected them, it will open up and ask for the task title, task description, task deliverables for all the tasks that you have selected. And then you'll also fill out the estimated budget for both the federal funds and the match, and for each of the categories. And then you'll have to do the same if you do have a 2-year project. You'll have to do the same for the 2nd year. You'll need to provide the information of the authorizing official, and whenever you are ready, you can complete this part. And so if I click Mark Complete right now, it will tell me that I have required fields. So I'll need to make sure that all of the required fields are filled out before I can mark complete. But like I said, I can always save as a draft and then come back to it at any point and just close. Once I've completed all of the fields that are marked required, the submit button will open up so that I will be able to submit. You will get, once you've submitted the application, you will get an email, and just be sure to check sometimes, because the email comes from Zengin, which is provided by WiseHive. It might be in your spam folder or junk folder or whatever. So just check to be on the lookout for an email showing that you have submitted your pre-application, and then kind of some directions on the next steps. And so this is pretty much what you need to know for the pre-application process, and please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any questions or if you're having any issues with the portal or any of the things on the website. Thank you very much.